Bibi Netanyahu can get his hostages out?
We're going to find out pretty soon. We're going to know pretty soon. Well, we're working very hard on Gaza, and Gaza's been a territory of death and destruction for many years. And, I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone. Have a real freedom zone. Because it seems that Gaza, every time, every 10 years it happens and more than that, it really happens all throughout. They've never solved the Gaza problem. And if you look at it, I have aerial shots where, there's practically no building standing. There's no building. People are living under the rubble of buildings that collapsed, which is not acceptable. It's tremendous death, and I want to see that be a freedom zone. And if it's necessary, I think I'd be proud to have the United States have it, take it, make it a freedom zone, let some good things happen, put people in homes where they can be safe, and Hamas is going to have to be dealt with. You got to remember, October 7th was one of the worst days in the history of the world, I think, not just local to this region. It was one of the worst, most atrocious attacks anyone's ever seen. But now we're dealing with Hamas, and we're dealing with Iran, and we're dealing with a lot of other things. We're dealing with the Houthis, and that was, I think, very successful. But maybe tomorrow an attack will be made, in which case we go back on the offensive. So it's good. It's good. We have a lot of things happening, a lot of very positive things happening. Okay?
Palestinians fled areas of northern Gaza on Friday following Israeli strikes. Local health authorities said more than 250 people have been killed since Thursday morning. It is one of the deadliest phases of bombardment since the truce collapsed in March, and a new ground offensive is expected soon. One of the displaced, Fadi Tambora, said, "Where should I go?" adding that there is bombing in western Gaza and people dying in the south. US President Donald Trump ended a Middle East tour on Friday with no apparent progress towards a new ceasefire. He said that a lot of people are starving in Gaza and emphasized the need for aid deliveries. Heavy strikes on Friday were reported in Beit Lahia and Jabalia. In the Jabalia refugee camp, Palestinians searched through the rubble to look for survivors. Abu Omar al-Zanati said his cousin was martyred.
Every day they say that the situation of the war will be resolved, and we are sitting. Everyday martyrs, everyday martyrs, everyday martyrs, in addition to the war of hunger that we are in. This is another war.
Although Israel is facing growing international pressure to resume ceasefire talks and end its blockade of Gaza, it has instead intensified its bombardment and built up armed forces along the border.
Gaza resident Badria Mohareb is old enough to remember what Palestinians call the Nakba, or catastrophe, of 1948. She is no stranger to conflict, but she says what she's facing now is worse.
During all the wars that took place, there was nothing like what's happened during this one.
77 years ago, on May 15th, war broke out in the Middle East, a day after the State of Israel was established, when British forces withdrew from what was then called Palestine. Mohareb's family was among the nearly 800,000 Palestinians who fled or were forced to flee their homes. She says she was 13 then and was living with her family in Jaffa. Jaffa is now part of Israel. The fighting lasted for months and cost thousands of lives. Her family escaped to Gaza, where they were able to plant wheat and barley for food there. Mohareb says it's a stark contrast to current conditions in the enclave, where Israel has blocked food and supplies from entering since March.
We fled to Gaza. In Gaza we were full. We were full, I swear. Everything was available. We had bread. We found food to eat. We would find watermelons. We would find the things we needed. Now we crave something to eat, I swear.
Sitting in front of her tent next to a destroyed house in the southern city of Khan Yunis, Mohareb says this war is destruction.
It hasn't left a single home, it hasn't left a soul or anything.
As Palestinians commemorated the Nakba on Thursday, Israeli bombardments continued. Children were among dozens of people killed, local medics said. Most of them in Khan Yunis, where airstrikes hit homes and tents. 13-year-old Rayam al-Zanati says she woke up to find herself under rubble in her house. She says her uncle's entire family was killed, including young cousins. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli military. Hamas said in a statement that Israel was making a, quote, desperate attempt to negotiate under cover of fire. It comes as indirect ceasefire talks take place, with United States and Arab mediators pushing for a deal, and as US President Donald Trump visits the Middle East.